Hello, lovelies. Today we'll be reviewing area and energy with a Shoebox Fuseball project. To begin, the standards that we'll be covering with this project are MD4 to generate measurement data by measuring the lengths using rulers. And once we find those lengths, we'll be using them to multiply the sides to find the areas of a rectangle, to solve mathematical problems, and represent whole number products as the rectangular areas in your mathematical reasoning. In science, we'll be obtaining, evaluating, and communicating information about the relationship between balanced and unbalanced forces. We will specifically be focusing on the simple machine of the lever with this project and how its force changes when we use it to complete tasks. Our engineering standard is to describe, measure, and estimate quantities such as area to address scientific and engineering questions and problems. Let's begin. To prime our brains for this project, let's review our vocabulary. How do we measure length and width? If length is how long something is from one side to the other, and width is how long the short side is from one side to the other, what do we do to calculate those measurements? Take a moment and think about that. If you said that you need a ruler to find the length or width of a rectangle, you are correct. And once you have the length or width, you can find the area, because the area is the measurement of a certain space inside of the shape. So how do you calculate it? What formula do you use to calculate area? If you said that you multiply length times width, give yourself a pat on the back because you are correct. In science, we've been discussing energy. Why is energy important? Energy is what allows things to move or change. So why would it be important that things can move and change? Let that be one of your guiding questions as we move through this project. We discussed that your simple machine focus would be a lever. A lever, remember, is a force that pushes one end down and forces the upside end to go up. So one thing that we use to remember levers is a seesaw. When you push off with your feet, you go up and the other person goes down. When they push off, you go down and they go up. So our problems for our project. How can area help me design a foosball area? And why is energy important? You can write these down on a sticky note. You can type them on a sticky note on your laptop. Keep these questions in your mind as you move through our project. And I am sure you're waiting at the edge of your seat. What on earth is our project, Miss Arnold? Our project is a shoebox foosball table. Have you ever played with a foosball table before? Some players attached on poles will kick a ball around the game of miniature soccer. So think of it as soccer on a tabletop, and the ball is the soccer ball, and the little players attached to the poles are all of the humans that would be playing soccer. You will be creating a small miniature version of Fuseball with things that you can find around your own home. So what materials do you think that you'll use for your prototype? You will need at least 2 colored markers, a shoebox, 10 clothespins, a ruler, a pair of scissors, a hole punch, 1 marble, and 4 wooden skewers. Pause your video while you go get your supplies, and when you're ready, with all of them ready to go, start the video again for your next directions. Welcome back! You should have at least 2 colored markers, 1 marble, a hole punch, a shoebox, 10 clothespins, 1 ruler, a pair of scissors, and 4 wooden skewers. Stop poking yourself with the pointy end of the wooden skewer. That's not what it's for. Set them down to the side. You'll use them later. I know my kiddos. Time to begin. We're going to make our players and the goals in the shoeboxes first, okay? So fun part first, you get to color in the clothespins. Choose 2 colors that you want to use, and you need 5 of each color. So I know that I love blue and I love green. So I would color 5 clothespins green and 5 clothespins blue, and that creates 2 teams. So think of the colors as their uniforms. Next, you're going to cut off the lid from the shoebox. If you can just lift it off and put it away, lift it off and put it away. You don't need it. The third thing you're going to do is find the center of each end of your shoebox and use your ruler to draw a rectangle on each end of the shoebox, measuring 2 inches long and 1 inch tall. 2 inches long and 1 inch tall. These are going to be the goals for each team. So this is where you would try and get the ball to go through the hole to be your soccer net, okay? Once you've cut out this hole for your goal, what's the area of your rectangle? How much space have you given yourself? If it's 2 inches long and 1 inch tall, how big is the goal? Record that calculation down. You'll be turning it in later. Step 5. Use your ruler to measure the length of your shoebox and determine where the center is. Mark the center on both sides of your box. So now you're on the long side, like this picture below. On one side of your box, draw a line 1.5 inches to the right of where you marked the middle, going from top to bottom. Next, draw another line 1.5 inches to the left of the middle marker. Do this on both sides of the box. So you'll find the center and draw a line. From that line, 1.5 inches over, is where your first line will go. Then measure 3 inches from the bottom of the box and punch a hole along that line. Repeat on both sides of your box. At this point, you should have 3 lines drawn and a hole punched on the 2 lines at the end. Place your wooden skewer through each hole going straight forward. The skewers should be spaced out evenly between each other. Now, measure 2 inches to the right of the right skewer and draw another line from top to bottom. Here's an image of what your skewers should start to look like. Then measure 2 inches to the left of the skewer and make another line from top to bottom with your marker on both sides. Again, punch holes 3 inches from the bottom of your box along the new lines and run the skewers through the holes. Make sure that your skewers are straight. You should have all 4 skewers going through your shoebox at this point. Clip 3 of your players that are the same color to each skewer on the inside. You're gonna let your players enter the field. Clip the last 2 clothespins of each color on the skewers closest to the goal. Measure the length and width of your box to determine the area of your field. To play, place your marble in the center of the box and flip your players up and down to move the marble around and try and make a goal. An extra challenge extension. Replace your marble with a small pom-pom for the ball. How's the marble different from the pom-pom in scoring a goal? What could you design to catch the marble once you score? What supplies would you need? Sketch a prototype and include it in your assignment document that you'll be submitting to Schoology. Here's the page explaining all of the things that you'll turn in. Number 1 is a photo or video of you with your completed shoebox, or a video of you playing with the Fuseball shoebox. 2, you're going to upload your data calculations to Schoology. And here you can include any of the extension work that you participated in. Number 3, you'll be answering these questions in your Schoology discussion group and replying to 2 people. So what kind of energy does this project use? What worked? What did not work? And why? Did you have other people test your design and give you feedback? Why or why not? What evidence would you give students before they start this project to help them improve? What advice would you give students? So then I'm going to show you on Schoology. You'll come and put your foosball discussion here, and you will be replying to 2 classmates after you post your initial discussion. And then this is where you'll be submitting your foosball evidence and your calculations. So your photo, your video, your calculations and extensions can all be submitted here.